Tithing and seed faith offerings can release dopamine, much like volunteering or acts of altruism. This connection lies in the psychological mechanisms that govern reward and emotional regulation. Engaging in what is perceived as a virtuous act activates the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine, a feel-good neurotransmitter. This biochemical response explains why individuals often report feelings of satisfaction, pride, or euphoria after giving. A compelling example is the case of a woman who proudly shared her experiences of giving to her church, emphasizing the immense joy it brought her. This reaction highlights the psychological reward loop created when giving aligns with an individual's values or beliefs. However, this dopamine-driven reward can foster an addictive cycle, especially when combined with certain religious teachings. Religious frameworks often amplify this psychological process by introducing strong emotional and moral undertones. For example, the belief that tithing can cleanse guilt provides unconscious psychological relief, akin to the mechanism of confession or absolution in some faiths. Individuals may give not only to feel good, but also to unburden themselves of guilt or fear. When this practice is reinforced by teachings suggesting divine punishment for non-compliance, the psychological stakes heighten, creating what can be described as a stronghold in the mind. This cycle is further compounded by scriptural manipulation. Religious authorities might emphasize scriptures that portray tithing as a moral and spiritual obligation, often paired with warnings of curses or divine retribution for failing to give. The fear of punishment activates the brain's amygdala, heightening stress and anxiety, while the act of giving counteracts this by providing a dopamine-fueled sense of relief and reward. Over time, this creates a powerful feedback loop. Fear prompts giving, giving releases dopamine, and dopamine reinforces the behavior. The combination of neurochemical reward and doctrinal fear can trap individuals in a cycle of tithing addiction. They become psychologically conditioned to associate giving with both relief from fear and the pleasure of doing good. This cycle is self-reinforcing, as the positive feelings encourage continued giving, while the fear of spiritual consequences prevents disengagement. Understanding this dynamic sheds light on how psychological principles and religious beliefs can intersect to influence behavior. By recognizing the role of dopamine, guilt, and fear, individuals can critically evaluate their motivations for giving and seek a balanced, autonomous approach to acts of generosity. This explanation draws on principles of neuroscience, behavioral psychology, and religious psychology to illustrate the argument.